my mom. You don't mess with her.
Where is she?
Be glad you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one hell of a way to end the trailer. We just got a new bomb-ass trailer, a hella cool trailer for the Return of the Walking Dead Season 9. I'm going to leave a link down in the video description down below to check it out. I tried watching it on AMC's channel, and for some reason, the first 2 or 3 seconds, it's so pixelated, and then it clears up. But we'll run through what we see in the trailer. I want to kind of keep this specifically related to this trailer and not veer off on multiple different topics. But let's start with the very first scene. We do get confirmation that the person on horseback that a lot of us believed was Lydia is in fact a prisoner Lydia. This is the daughter of the Whisperer leader, Alpha. Now, we see her with the Whisperer mask. In the comic, it was Jesus who beat up a bunch of Whisperers and then went to kill the final one that was on her knees and wounded, and she said, "Please don't kill me." It looks like they're doing the same thing, but it's now remixed with Daryl and Michonne instead of Jesus, because he's dead. Face down, ass up. And then they do put in the clip of Lydia on the horse, and they're returning her to Hilltop, where we see new images of Daryl putting Lydia in a jail cell that was made by Earl Sutton. We see an image of Carol and Ezekiel. Now, this is interesting because it looks like they're clearing out walkers with people from the kingdom. And I am assuming, since we did get confirmation, and we're going to discuss this probably in a different video, but we did get confirmation that the fair from the comic is definitely happening on the show. I'm assuming they're cleaning out the extra space needed for the fair. Maybe this is a building that's close. Maybe this is an area for others to come, and they're renovating it and cleaning it up, cleaning out some of the walkers hidden in any of the nooks and crannies. In the comic, the fair was at Alexandria. On the show, we know the fair is going to be at the Kingdom, so it makes sense that they would be clearing out some buildings that are on the outside of the gates or outside of the wall in the Kingdom, trying to set up a safe area for people to come and visit and to stay at. That was just the first thing that popped in my head. If you guys have a better idea, maybe I missed something, maybe I just wasn't thinking about it, put your thoughts and opinions about that in the comment box down below. But next up, we have people from the Hilltop, led by the new temporary leader, Tara, and Magna's group, walking along the road with weapons out, axes and bow and arrows, and it looks like they're walking towards a herd of walkers. We don't know if it's just walkers or some Whisperers. We don't know if they're going to threaten. Maybe they've seen a couple Whisperers and some walkers and they kill them and they make some type of threat. And I say that because we also see an image of an arrow in a tree, immediately following the image of Yumiko with a bow and arrow. And the person looking at the arrow is Luke from Magna's group, who, if maybe Yumiko was in trouble or missing or something, maybe Luke would volunteer to go and help. And Alden's also there from the Hilltop. So since we have this Hilltop / Magna group of females out, and then we see the guys out later, they are either two groups that splintered off and they just saw the bow and arrow in the tree and they're thinking, well, wait a minute, maybe our group is this way, and that's where they try to reconnect with their group. Instead, they run into the Whisperers. We'll get to that in a second, though, because they show an image of Beta with a few Whisperers. I think it's really cool to see Beta, but this is nothing fantastic. Just a dark image of him, and it looks like some Whisperers and maybe a couple walkers inside some type of building. The only other time we saw him in a building that I remember is when he appeared to be fighting Daryl. I don't know if this is the same time, same building, same moment, or leading up to that moment. But I would imagine it's likely. We got that same image of a creepy Alpha in the woods. And then we got Luke and Alden, the same image in the woods surrounded by Whisperers. If that's not a I just shit my pants look, then I don't know what is. And then we have Daryl talking to Lydia, and this is where we got that badass clip in the beginning of the video. If there's no badass clip in the beginning of the video, that means this was taken down because AMC blocked it, and I edited the clip out, and then I re-uploaded it. So if you don't see it, That's why. I like this dialogue. I love everything about this. He's like, so where is your mom? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, if you don't know, you're better off for it. Be lucky you don't know where she is, because if you knew, you'd be in a lot of trouble. I thought that was pretty badass. Now, I know this is a small thing, but one of the next images we see to end out this trailer is Daryl kind of hiding behind a bush or some greenery, and he seems to be watching a herd of walkers and or whispers. I'm assuming it's both. Now, this new trailer, I kind of got the feeling they wanted us to think that Alpha came up behind Daryl. I don't really see this being the case, just because the image of Alpha at the end of the trailer pulling her shotgun, it's an iconic image in the comic, and we'll get to that in a second, because I always thought this was a little funny, and I've never seen anyone mention this, so this is probably the first time you guys are going to hear like, oh, wait a minute, that's weird, about the first appearance of Alpha, because I think there's some shenanigans going on there in the comic book. But going back to Daryl, I know it's a small thing, but he has the backpack on, and I think he is maybe looking for Henry. Henry went out with Lydia. Or maybe they will remix, instead of Henry, going out and getting involved with the Whispers, maybe it is Daryl who gets involved. Now, I don't think that's the case, because of the way they remixed Henry to take up and absorb some Comic Carl storylines. It doesn't make sense for them to do that and then not use Henry. But what throws me off, and I know it's a small thing, but the backpack. We don't really see Daryl wear a lot of backpacks. We see him here and there with small things, right? But at this moment, there was a specific moment in the comic where that's what Carl did. He loaded up his backpack and he went out on the road to keep an eye on Lydia. And I thought, well, maybe there is some type of remix with Daryl and Henry in some type of way remixed here. And they're both going to absorb some of Comic Carl's storyline. Henry, of course, with the Lydia connection and them two growing a relationship. And then we have Daryl in some aspects out there running into the Whispers, maybe running into Alpha to some extent, running into Beta, obviously. But anyhow, basically I'm just saying I do think at this time Daryl's going to absorb a little bit of Comic Rick's storyline, but also, and this is something I didn't really think of a hell of a lot before, but also some of Comic Carl's storyline. I think that's definitely possible. Then again, it's Daryl. He's absorbing everyone's storyline. Anyway, so the end of the trailer has the iconic first appearance image of Alpha coming up to a character in the comic named Dante. Now, what happened was Dante fought a bunch of Whispers, and this was the Whisper reveal. Instead of Daryl on the show, in the comic it was Dante. He killed them. He found the stitching in the back of the mask. And he was alone out in this area, this open field. They just fought, Whispers by a barn. A bunch of his people got killed. And a few of his people got killed. And he finds the mask that they were wearing. He cuts it off of one of the Whispers. And this is the big reveal in the comic. And it was so awesome. And then all of a sudden, we see an image of a Whisper wearing a mask, holding a sawed-off double-barrel shotgun at him, saying, "Don't move." Really iconic image. One of my all-time favorite single issues. I love the cover. I love the story. I just love the introduction of the Whispers and how it happened in the comic, and especially in that one single issue. Loved it so much. And Alpha in the comic is a unique character because she has two first appearances. She has the first appearance, which is, I think it's known and confirmed at this point in time that at the end of issue 132, this is supposed to be Alpha's first appearance. However, when she unmasks a few issues later, when she meets up with Maggie, that is also considered one of her first appearances. When collectors are buying the comic, there's kind of two first appearances for Alpha, because you have the masked version and then the unmasked, where you get Alpha's reveal, her first actual appearance. And with comic books, there's been mistakes. We know that Rick has one arm, and at least once a year, the artist, Charlie Adlard, draws him with two hands. And we know that certain characters like Negan, he was only supposed to live for like 5 issues or something small. So things change, and sometimes they change radically. And then by the time we saw her meet face to face with Maggie, I think like 6 issues later or something like that, Alpha really changed in appearance. Look at this image. What do you notice about Alpha? The only thing that looks like Alpha in the comic book in her first appearance is the sawed-off double-barrel shotgun. That is it. That is it. She doesn't have her black outfit. She doesn't have her iconic outfit. And from this point on, she will always have that black outfit. She never wears anything different. It's as if they changed her look to some extent. It's as if they drew some random whisperer, and then they thought, oh, that gun is cool. And then they were like, oh, no, it's Alpha. I always thought that was so weird and strange, but I didn't really harp on it too much. I just kind of figured they didn't really have her fully fleshed out. And then by the time they did, she had kind of changed with a slightly different outfit. I mean, her mask, for the most part, her Whisperer mask in the comic stayed somewhat the same. It's just, I would have to say her outfit is the biggest difference. Her outfit is always black, except for in her first appearance, her very first appearance. And it didn't really stand out fully as something to discuss until we've seen the recreation of this moment in the trailer, but also Greg Nicotero purposefully took an image, this image I'm showing on screen, to look just like Alpha's first appearance in the comic. I mean, listen, I just think it's a neat behind-the-scenes thing as a comic fan. I just think it's neat. I personally think they didn't have her fully fleshed out when they first drew her in the back of issue 132. And then once they did, she was on the cover of 138. And then she was in, I think, 138 as well on the inside. And that is when they fully fleshed out her black outfit with her Ouroboros, belt buckle and all that. So I just think it's neat. Oh, well. This was definitely a badass trailer leading into the hype. The Walking Dead is returning very soon, and things are going great. Just the other day, I picked up the Elgato capture card. My plan is coming together nicely for the new year. Resident Evil 2, the remake, is coming out tomorrow, which is exciting. I hope I'm all set up and we can start streaming that ASAP. The companion channel, Ronnie Hayes, if you haven't subscribed to that yet, we've already been uploading a bunch of gaming content. Fortnite right now on that channel. We'll also be uploading a lot more different gaming content on that channel weekly, at least 3 to 5 times a week. There's going to be videos on that gameplay-wise. We're just taking it one thing at a time, but The Walking Dead is coming back, and I can't wait to dive into the more polished videos. But the ball is rolling. I can't wait. Doomsday Kingdom, like I said, we are shipping out, but I will do a solo update letting you guys know a more specific idea of where we're at there. Alright, thoughts and opinions about this trailer down in that comment box. I'm done talking, so it's your turn.